Has Marvel Studios finally done it and snagged Henry Cavill? New reports seem to indicate that the Superman actor has indeed joined the MCU, and he will not be playing Dr. Doom. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Henry Cavill joining the MCU and taking up the role as Captain Britain. Now, before we do that, though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring that bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, guys, we have a pretty interesting report today, but I want to make sure before we dive in, we actually put this in the proper context. There have been long-standing and repeated rumors about Henry Cavill coming over to the MCU. Clearly, the role of Superman didn't work out with DC, and he has such a large fan base. This has been a constant discussion for years. As a matter of fact, recently there were several rumors that he was taking up the role of Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four reboot. So I want to put all that in front of this before we even dive into this story at all. Now, following his return in Black Adam, Henry Cavill found himself, not part of a superhero franchise. James Gunn took over the DCU and is rebooting everything. And sadly, Cavill's time as the Man of Steel ended. Now, to be fair, Warner Brothers never really treated him very well as the character. And a lot of people truly feel like Warner Brothers not just did that, but totally treated him wrong. So it would seem like a pretty logical step for the British actor to come over to the MCU. Now, this is where the report comes in. And I want to be clear. This is from an anonymous scooper. My time to shine hello. And as we always like to say, we're taking anonymous scoopers with a huge grain of salt. They're allowed to be wrong all the time. As a matter of fact, this particular scooper had multiple Fantastic forecasts that were 0 out of 4, a complete swing and a miss. So keep that in mind as we go through the story. Now, what he is reporting is he has been offered and accepted a role in the MCU. And reportedly, that role will indeed be Captain Britain. Now, honestly, Captain Britain is not a huge Marvel character, but he's well established in the comics and well known by most comic readers. He's just not what I would call mainstream. But if Marvel did actually offer him this role and he took it up, well, I actually think it's probably as close to a perfect casting as you could possibly have. Captain Britain, whose real name is Brian Braddock, made his first appearance in Captain Britain #1 way back in 1976, and has been a pretty big part of the Marvel world, and specifically the superhero group Excalibur, which features a lot of mutants like Nightcrawler, Shadowcat, and Rachel Summers, for several decades. So the addition of the character into the MCU could be quite telling. Now, the real question is this true or not? And honestly, guys, I don't think we're going to have any confirmation for quite a while. It does have a couple things working against it. First and foremost, it's from a leaker who's been wrong multiple times. So I'm not going to get overly excited until I get something official. I also have reservations because it's not that I'm not excited for Henry Cavill to join the MCU, but I don't know if the character they're talking about makes a lot of sense. Bob Iger has made it pretty clear they're focusing on franchises that have worked for them in the past, and their core characters. And Captain Britain is definitely not one of those characters. Most people outside of the comic world don't even know that Captain Britain exists. And if you mention the name, they actually think you're kind of making fun of Captain America and don't even believe the character is real. These things all, to me, kind of work against Marvel potentially developing the character. Now, the fact that we're going into an age of mutants, though, well, that could spell out something different. Like I said, the group Excalibur has a lot of mutant characters in it, and we saw some setup for some British-type superheroes in Secret Invasion, even though everybody wants to forget that series. Now, one of the other things that could lean into this being true is that Henry Cavill has revealed in the past he's totally open to playing the character. Back in 2001, he actually said, "I'm never going to say a Marvel character that is already being played by someone else because everyone's doing such an amazing job." However, I have the internet and I have seen the various rumors about Captain Britain. That would be loads of fun to do a cool, modernized version of that, the way they modernized Captain America. There's something fun about it, and I do love being British. Now, Cavill definitely has a rising star right now. He's actually heading up the Highlander franchise. Argyle just dropped, and although it hasn't done very well, he was pretty awesome in the movie, and with the way Warner Brothers treated the actor over the years, I would not be surprised if he's interested in the role just to simply put the screws back to DC. Now, if Marvel was going to cast him, I honestly believe he would be much better as a Victor Von Doom. Cavill's demeanor would make the perfect Victor. He comes across as very smart. He showed in his role of Superman he can absolutely be menacing, and if you know Victor Von Doom from the comics, he actually does have a bit of a similar look to the character. With Marvel setting up the Fantastic Four right now, it would make way more sense that if Cavill has been cast, he's joining the Fantastic Four movie, and he'll be part of the MCU as Doctor Doom, leading the country of Latveria, and squaring off against pretty much the whole Marvel Universe. Now again, this is pure rumor coming from an anonymous Cooper, so we're dumping a bunch of salt on it until we get some kind of real confirmation. I would be excited to see him take up the role of Captain Britain. I just find it much more likely, if he did indeed sign, that he signed as Doctor Doom, and not a rather unknown hero from Marvel Comics. But we're going to have to wait and see.